On Monday, October 13th, Indigenous Peoples Day took place at Lawton City Hall in Lawton, Oklahoma. Comanche Nation Princess Isabella Ramirez, Kiowa Comanche Apache Indian Veterans Association Princess Mercedes Benedérez, and Comanche Little Ponies Princess Arlene Sconsion signed the Lord's Prayer. A city official read the proclamation, and awards were presented for Indigenous Woman and Man of the Year, as well as Educators of the Year. There were several keynote speakers, including Cornell P.B. Wardy and Cindy Famero. Yolanda Ramos was named Indigenous Woman of the Year for her work at Fort Sill Indian School. She said it was an honor to have received the award and was surprised. Her speech focused on Indigenous Peoples Day as a whole.
It's very important to take this opportunity to talk about Indigenous people and to talk about why we celebrate who we are as people. You know, and not us, of course, but our ancestors fought so much through the treaties and with our land, and it's important that we continue celebrating our language and our culture, and making sure that we're teaching the kids these things so that they can carry these traditions on for years and through more generations to come.
Ramos said being someone young, Indigenous, and Hispanic girls can look up to means a lot to her.
So I always remind myself to lead by example, but that also means that there are a lot of little ones watching me. And as a woman, I have a lot of girls watching me as well. And it's not always easy being in a room full of old white men sometimes, in which I've had to go through those struggles. It's not always easy being in the same room as men, but still being a strong Indigenous woman. And I've had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that was kind of the hardest thing. And I always remind myself that sometimes you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
She's currently working on several projects at the Fort Sill Indian School.
We must remember that these things, it's not about the recognition. It's about the community service. It's about service to our people. And it's about standing up for who we are as people and always trying to do the right thing.
Because of his work and culture, Travis Comanche was recognized as Indigenous Man of the Year. He spoke about his father and growing up without his native roots to discovering them later on.
It just hit me when I went up there, and our first duty as children is to honor our mother and our father, and that's most important to me. Is the most important thing to me definitely is honoring Creator. That is what I went up there prominently to talk about. You know, I just winged it. I didn't have anything planned to say, but it wasn't until I got behind the podium where just memories of my mom and dad, my upbringing hit me, and that's what makes me what I am today.
Comanche is also a small business owner, and it ties into his culture and beliefs.
So for a lot of years since I've been down here, you know, as you know personally, that we have basically just dove into launching a company. That was never my intention to do that. It was just to prove a point, to say, well, if you treat people amazing and you do amazing work and you put Creator first, then these things will happen, and I think I've proven that point. So we put a lot of time into doing a lot of custom work, doing a lot of, you know, volunteer, and I never speak of any of the sponsorships we do or the volunteer work. You just do it because you do it. So with that said, our company is based on a lot of custom, and what I really love doing, you know, my wife and I just talked about it, is what really encompasses me these days is, I don't even want to say ministry. It's basically, it's important for me to learn the complete truth of why we're here and to share that in the right way. And I know that Creator's blessed me with a lot of talent to do that, you know. So I'm more spiritual based than political based, you know. I'm more art and music than, I must confess, business minded.
He said his connections inspire him.
Make new friends, you know, and to be able to share music and art, you know, through any means necessary in order to share the truth. So that's what I mean. I've been getting a lot more musical performance opportunities, and I've been diving more into wanting to do faith-based apparel, and just making a lot more time for Bible study and just to learn what I can do to inspire others just to be a better man. That's it. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, when I was little, I seen it, and I still see the same thing today where it's needed to just set the example. You know, I do my best to set the example to show the results of what happens when you do that full-heartedly.
Komachi said it's inspiring to keep going and find the blueprint of how people can be their best. Comanche Academy Charter School Superintendent and Principal Shannon Foy said the school staff being named Indigenous Educators of the Year was a blessing.
Everyone was thrilled because this is our first honoring of this capacity, just to be recognized for our efforts and our work and the love we pour into the students. It was amazing.
She said many of the educators came to the school to revitalize language through preservation.
To make sure our students, our kids here become the next language speakers. Because we don't want the language to die, we want our culture to continue to thrive. And here at our school, we get to do that. And it's many of the teachers here's dreams to, teach the language and culture while still teaching them academically. So this school is a dream school, not only for the students and the families, but also for every educator in the building.
Foy said being an Indigenous educator allows for authentic communication.
The students, the teachers, my coworkers, they look like me, they understand my culture, they understand my language, they understand, the native slang we have. If you say a or ba, they know what you're talking about, and they know how to laugh and tease, because that's what we do as natives, is we joke. And that was one of the biggest draws for this school, is I get to come teach that, come be around that, and come inspire others to just authentically live our lives.
The school offers a family literacy night every month, and November's will be Native American focused. Reporting for the Comanche Nation PIO News, Natasha Mercadante.